Good morning, everybody. It's Marty, the JavaScript party. My buddy Brett. She's a little freaked out because if you might notice, I changed up the way this is behind me, and she does not like changes to the environment. So I brought her in, and here's her favorite kind of nut. We'll put that there. See, I think she's afraid of that yellow thing. That's like a game, and she's just got issues. She doesn't like change. So anyways, let's see, npm start. So today we are working on end-to-end things. I don't have a whole lot of time. It's already 8:45, 8:44, so I only have like 11 minutes, 12, maybe 13 minutes to make a video in. npm run Cypress open, and that will fire up Cypress. Let's go to our packages and shut everything down. So at some point in this last effort, basically, this whole effort of mine has been to um, try to deal with these detached nodes that started showing up in the code. Um, I was trying to do some close others. I was trying to do some sort of analysis to try to determine whether I had. So I had this sort of thing that I realized in my mind is like you can't really delete things in JavaScript. I've heard that before. I've definitely heard those words before people, and that has always been one of the big criticism is memory management. You can't really manage memory because you don't have access to the actual memory. What happens is you have this thing called a garbage collector, and it goes around, and anytime you have a piece of memory that doesn't have anything that's using it, it'll recover that memory to be used again. But what JavaScript sort of has this, again, like most things in life, its greatest strength is also its greatest weakness. It has these closures and other memory techniques to keep track of things and to give you references to things so you can have a reference to something and then use it in another context, which is great. But the problem is that you can get references to things so that they can be used in other contexts and then never ever use them, and just slowly keep collecting more and more references till the site is just so full of references that like literally all the memory available has been consumed. And that is what is basically fundamentally from a practical perspective. I don't know from a like a technical perspective, but from a practical perspective, you can end up consuming all the memory. Technically possible, I don't know, to consume all the memory, but you can get to your point where either the application becomes insanely slow or just crashes because you've used all the memory. And I've seen this a million times. Like literally every really large suite that I've ever either used or been part of the development process has had this sort of feature where after 3 or 4 hours of use, you needed to refresh the page. That's a classic sign of a memory leak. And it's usually not that big of a deal. Like literally, I think the biggest reason no one's ever done anything about it is because um, it just isn't a thing. Like on most web pages, you just you use the web page, you go search on it for a little bit, and then you close it down. Or at the next level, maybe you use it for hours on end, but once it gets slow, you just hit refresh. You're not saving things. But I have worked on a few things where people spend hours and hours and hours and hours working on something, just trying to obsessively trying to get something done, and then next thing you know, the whole browser crashes at the absolute worst time. And I really think that this application, this ThreeJS application that I'm working on, could be one of those projects. So I'm trying to be really, really careful to make sure that I kind of stay cognizant and fix memory issues as soon as I realize that they exist. So that's what this whole round has been about, is like refactoring so that I don't have these detached nodes. And detached nodes, my understanding is, I've read a few different definitions of them, but my understanding is of all the different definitions I read, I think the one that makes most sense is something that the browser has an element, a DOM element that the browser has um, in its memory, but the JavaScript doesn't have any any references to it. And that's how the browser can know. It can know that, hey, there's nothing in the V8 engine, the JavaScript. If you're using Chrome or Edge, the JavaScript module, the piece of code that runs the dynamic scripting, which is the JavaScript module, like that doesn't have any references to what's in the browser. And that is the thing. So while I was working on that and doing that, I ended up creating like a bug. And the bug was, let's see if we can go back and reload this. One of the bugs was that when you went like this, like so right now I'm in what's known as the custom view. And if I add a visualization in the custom view, they kind of just show up like this, like sort of in a grid. And now if I can change to a tabular view, and then I have this like this. And then I noticed that if I went back to the custom view, it wouldn't show anymore. And I was like, oh man, I can't believe that I didn't get caught in end-to-end testing. I must have not written a test that goes back. But now that I think about it, I feel like there was one where we went here, we changed the flow, we deleted this, and then we came back, and it was like this. Um, and so I'm pretty sure we have that. So I actually must have broke it while I was working on that. And that is sort of one of I think probably the problem that we're dealing with in software development in general. Like, let's just be honest, like software gets to a certain size, regardless of whether it's a web app or any other apps, and they just freaking quit working, or they don't work well. They start working really bad. And I think that the fundamental problem is that once a soft piece of software gets so feature rich, no one can remember what all the features were anymore. And once you start forgetting what some of the features are, it's really hard to not break them. And so that is what I think Cypress brings. I think Cypress or end-to-end testing um, will bring that next level of being able to scale applications to, bigger. I don't think we've run in. I think we have slayed the technical dragon. We had gotten to the point where you just could only write so much code before everything just sort of fell apart. I think we can write as much code as we want. I think the problem is we can only add so many features before we just mentally, the BAs, everybody just can't keep track of everything that the application does anymore. And so this will tell me, like, is that a false memory? Did it, like, when did it used to work? Because I think it used to work. Pretty sure you used to be able to move back and forth between that. So I was thinking, oh, what I need to do is come and write a new unit test, a new end-to-end test that tests going to like the tabular view and coming back. Because obviously I didn't have one, because how could this bug, I obviously didn't create that bug in the work that I was doing. I mean, there's no way. Well, I did. I did create that bug. And then I created a bunch of fake memories to, I think, now in retrospect, after having hours and hours and hours to think about it, I created like some sort of fake memory to support my um my miss my desire to have not broken things. Um, so that's our keyboard one. Our resize one. I think the reflow one actually tests the piece of the action that I thought I did not test. And reflow is next. So that was my resize one. And I will say that even though this application does not have a lot of features, it doesn't even really do what it was supposed to do. Yeah, see, well, no, we didn't. Maybe I didn't do what I thought. Oh, maybe it was delete that goes back. Yeah, see, it went back. See, we were in tabular when we went back. So this one definitely tested that piece of functionality. So obviously I broke it while I was working on there, but I couldn't imagine how I broke it. So then I created a fake memory, and then I said, oh, wait, why didn't I get caught in end-to-end testing? And then I thought, oh, because I never test that. So I need to add a new test. Like that's how desperate I was to believe that I didn't break it in that that in that session. And I don't know why I cared, but I think that it is important that we sort of keep things real, at least with ourselves. Um, and AR. And as you see, this stuff happens so fast that you can't even really even see what's happening, um, which is fine, right? Because I don't want to spend 15 hours running end-to-end tests. I want the end test really to run fast and then catch if something's broken. Um, so, anyways, yeah, I think that I had broken it with the effort to get rid of the detached nodes, but I believe we are ready for a commit. So let's go ahead and do that. I guess I need a new terminal. You can hit this button. Well, I guess I didn't. What I needed to do was just kill Cypress. Git status commit dash m. And I like to hit the up button so I can see. And I cannot remember what video this is. This is like, it's definitely more than 269. Let's see. So we are on video 272. So I'm just going to go 272. And now I'm not actually, so I'm absolutely convinced that the Angular material menu was creating detached nodes. And then I thought that the routing was causing detached nodes. I'm not 100% convinced of that. Now I'm starting to think it was more like the way the signals and the way I was assigning the arrays to the signals might have been what was causing detached nodes. So I would say that routing, I think there's like a 50-50 chance that that was causing the detached nodes, like some internal code within the routing was causing detached nodes. Um, but I think there's also a 50% chance that it was the way I was assigning things. If I could go back in time, I would definitely try assigning things differently first before removing the routing. Although I am glad I removed the routing because I don't really want to be dependent on things, the router destroying everything in order for me to manage what is supposed to be displayed and not displayed and all that. So I'm glad about that. But uh, nodes in table layout. And I always do that. Git add. And this reminds me, I really need to look at everything. And for some reason at work, I just made a lot of mistakes that I don't typically make. Don't know why. Okay, so I added the T-body. That makes sense. Like I was just naming things wrong, and yeah, I don't know. I don't know what was going on, but I'm definitely going to pay closer attention to that. Okay, so git add dots. So that stages everything. I really wish they'd have made that git stage dot, but but whatever. And it really should be git stage wildcard. That I think that would have fit a lot better, but it is what it is. And git push. So what is next? I think next is, I think we still have one last attached node thing to deal with, and that is, uh, or to at least attempt to deal with, add, go to tabular. And so I think at this point, I hope if I look at my detached node, if I take my snapshot, uh, yeah, oh, it's still retaining. Oh, what did I do? Oh, I ran a heap snapshot. Detach nodes, take snapshot. So we just have this one little tiny node count of one detached node. And then I think if I delete, let's try deleting both of them. Let's run our detached node. Let's run it again. Yes. Ooh. So we still have rows that are detached at this point. Ugh. See, I thought we'd fix this. Yeah, so now we have these rows. All right. So when I delete, apparently I'm creating detached nodes. So that is the next thing to fix. What a bummer. Add viz, go to tabular layout, take the snapshot. We have this little style loader, delete, row, take the snapshot, and we have a row. All right, so we need to figure out what we can do in delete. See if we can figure out how to make it not a detached node when we delete stuff. I thought I, yeah. And so even it might not even been leaving before, because what I was doing was I was just leaving and seeing that I had detached nodes. Well, that was actually the case, but I guess what that was doing was it was hiding this. What I've done is I fixed one problem, and then by fixing that problem, I've exposed a new problem, and that's whenever I delete, I'm creating a detached node. I'm curious. Gosh, I need to get to work, but add. Oh, you can't delete from here. So, anyways, so that's next. Try to figure out what it is about deleting that is causing detached nodes. Did not have um, I did not have, like I said, I couldn't really find this problem because, like, literally just leaving was causing detached nodes to show up. And then when you would leave, and so those detached nodes were already existed, regardless of whether I deleted or not. So there was no way to differentiate that. Also, in addition to when you leave, you also, if you hit delete, the delete button, it causes a detached node. So that is next, and this is the nature of software development. This is the kind of thing that I don't think they really teach. Like, I don't think that there is a class where they teach in computer science where they say, when you fix a bug, many times there's another bug behind it, and that bug you won't even be able to see that bug until you fix this bug. So when you're trying to estimate how long a fix is going to take, you know about the first bugs that you see, but many times those are literally just the tip of the iceberg. The second you fix that bug, new bugs will be exposed. Like that just doesn't ever get taught. I've never been to an agile class where they ever mention that concept. It's just the reality on the ground of how things are. Anyways, oh, it's 9:01. I'm late. Happy coding, everybody. Bye.